All right, this is the follow-up one, the next video after the one from yesterday. So if you're watching this video, 3 days in a row is the way you want to be watching the information. That's why it's good to be subscribed with the bell on so everything makes sense. So why don't you just go ahead and do that now? It's not going to hurt you. Hit the like button, subscribe. I reckon the info's worth it. Everybody else says that in the comments. You either are or you're not. This is where your crossroads are, which way you're going to go. Right, 181,000 Ks, injector job done, BFE job done, pilot learn done, power steering flush done, automatic transmission flush done, everything done. We've got a new thermostat in there. Temperature gauge is low, and you can see here on the scan tool just quickly, 13 degrees is the coolant temp, and time is 8:39 AM, similar timing. Let's start it up and see how long it takes to warm up and go for a drive. Away we go. How smooth and quiet is this gem of a vehicle? So I'm just doing the cruisy warm-up cycle, how I like to drive to warm things up. Most people would be cruising out of their estate, some speed humps, some corners. Little bit of gentle stop-start, 1500 RPM. Then they're going to get out into some longer straight parts where the speed increases a little bit, depending on the situation. But this is the typical warm-up cycle. It's not revving the nuts out of it, and it's not sitting there idling. This is how you want to warm it up. It's probably about time we have a bit of a look at the temperature on the coolant, because it is 8:42 AM, so it's been a few minutes. And you can have a look just there on the scan tool. Coolant temp, 41 degrees already. Isn't that amazing? At 8:42. 8:43, that needle's just coming off the cold line. You can see there. And you can trust me when I tell you, coolant temp's on 48 degrees with the needle sitting in that position. You can work it out by the kilometers on the odometer if you want to watch. You can see the temperature gauge there if you want to know what temperature that position is. At 8:45 AM, we are looking at 60 degrees on the coolant temp. This is why everybody should have a scan gauge, I reckon. So many things to look out for. Now, it's got to where the temperature gauge could be considered almost normal. It's just a little bit below half. And what we're looking at is, at 8:47, only 71 degrees on the coolant. See what I mean? So you wouldn't know if it's running cold at 70, 75, 78, you know, somewhere around there, a bit cold, and you wouldn't know, which is why I say, people, you don't want to drive around with the scan tool like this plugged in all the time, but only 71, you work out how long it's taken. We're in 13 to 14 degree ambient temperatures. There's all these variables, and that's why it pays to understand the variables, because if you don't, you're just going to go, oh no, I need a thermostat, it's taking too long to warm up. But you got to have a look at what really happens on the ground. This is a brand new one, this is normal, and I'm wasting a bit of time stopping yakking on a video, so it's going to take probably a little bit longer, but most of the driving's at about 1500. If I hit an 80k zone and sit on 2000 RPM, it's going to be warm in a few minutes. All right, the gauge has moved a little bit more, 8:49, 79 degrees on the scan tool. I've just seen it hit 83, so 8:50 AM. How many minutes was it to warm up to, as you can see, 83 degrees there on the coolant temp? You can see where the gauge sits, you know, just below half. Like I said, it's kind of about normal. You can even call it at about the halfway mark, plus or minus 10 or more degrees, and it's not going to move, which is why it's just a guide. And if it's anywhere not near there, you've most likely got a problem, and if it is there, you could have a problem you don't know about. Because the cooling system is so efficient, I haven't even moved, and it's back down to 81 degrees, which means thermostat will have closed. A little bit more driving, and of course, 8:53, we're seeing 83 again, and it'll hover around that area until you start driving, and it might warm up a little bit, but it shouldn't go too far beyond there, as explained in the other videos. And for those that are unaware, I'm not recommending you go and buy a diagnostic scan tool or anything like this that you can't get anymore anyway, I don't think, so it doesn't matter what that is. And you can get cheap versions years ago and they were unreliable. That's why if you watch the info, you see they're blown to pieces, but that's another story. What I'm talking about is Okay, so I'm currently working with AZ Scanners, trying to get you guys a discount code. So for ScanGauge 2, ScanGauge 3, they've got lots of stuff, mate. You can check out their website, but maybe don't buy anything yet. Just wait for the discount code because, hey, you'll get a discount. We're working on it. It's getting close. Bada bing, bada boom. On a 150 Prado. Look, I like the ScanGauge 3. Nice big display, 9 outputs, color. Hook it up on your Wi-Fi. Downloads all the PIDs. There's no work to do. And it does sit nicely on my car. I've got the dash mat, and you've probably seen it up there in the videos. If not, check out, there's 2 playlists. There's one called, Scan Tools. There you go. The Scan Tools playlist is what you want. And if you're wondering where it plugs in case you knew and you got no idea, on these cars, it just plugs straight into the plug there, right? So then you'd route your wire up behind the dash, wherever you want. Mine just sort of comes across here and across to there under the carpet, and then around there under the, and it just bada bing, and it's stuck on the windscreen. But it's low enough that it's not in my vision because of my height, I guess, that it's not in my view. It's important, in my opinion, we're going off topic now, but you don't have devices in your windscreen blocking your view. You need to see maximum vision at the front, and careful how you adjust your rear view mirror, because a lot of people have got it really low and it blocks your view, and there could be something going on just off to the side there, like a kid running out chasing a ball, and you won't see them because your view is blocked. So please, if you've got a phone, I have mine down in the low bottom right corner here where it's, once again, not blocking the view, or minimal. ScanGauge in the middle there, and I'm looking over the top of it to the bonnet line. I see all these people drive around with it up in the middle of the windscreen here. It's ridiculous. Anyway, going off topic, trying to help. Plug in, plug out. It's as simple as that, right? And you can get other brands, other makes, models, wireless ones, and whatever you want. So start checking things out. Check out AZ Scanners website, and hopefully I have a discount code for you soon. Subscribe to the bell, like I said at the start, so you don't miss it. And if you see this video and you didn't see the previous 2, you might want to check those out. And I'm not putting the link up there like everybody does, because I don't put in as much effort. It's not about me, it's to help you. It's just real bada bing, bada boom. Eat a mango. See ya. Last thing I'd like to say as we wrap this one up, bit of silence, that's right, bit of quiet time. You like that? Don't always assume that it's the thermostat when your temperature gauge is doing different things. That's why I use the scan tool. That'll eliminate the gauge on the dash, which on these cars, I've never, ever seen or even heard of a problem with a Toyota Prado temperature gauge on the dash, or a coolant temperature sensor, which is just there. Never seen a problem with one, never even heard of one from all my research. And my research is thorough because I am the absolute best Toyota Prado 1KD FTV and other vehicle technician workshop technician in the world. I am the best. Can you hear me? Some people are having a laugh. Some people are listening carefully. I'm the best. Now, that doesn't mean I know everything. It doesn't mean there's not people that know more about me, something specific on other engines. But just because they know doesn't mean they're the best, because it's a combination of skills, okay? I think you know what I mean. It's a combination of skills. There's one is knowledge and experience, and the other one is workmanship, quality of the job. And it's very rare to be able to find people that can do quality workmanship and have the right information at hand and all the experience of all that combination together. So that's what I wanted to say in case everyone's out changing their thermostats on all sorts of makes and models. Sometimes you need to check the gauge. It's rare. It's most likely going to be the thermostat. It's not always going to be down there in a hard to get to place. Could be the coolant temperature sensor. But on these vehicles, on these engines that I specialize in for over 10 years, don't really see anything else, because that's what I chose to do, because I love these. I have these. It's a choice. It's going to be the thermostat. If you see on the, because, you know, let's just pretend for a minute that could have been given the wrong reading. This wire could be damaged or something. You know, it could be. So I just wanted to put that in there. And that little ego thing, it's not an ego thing. I'm just saying I'm the best. Maybe I should call the video I'm the best and this is why. Anyway, hope you had a laugh. Catch you in the next video.